Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, July 2nd. You know that means it's the High Risk Wrestling Recap. Time to go over everything that went down last week. And man, we had ourselves, a week. Forbidden Door was already covered. And the What Just Happened, so go check out that. But we had Money to the Bank last night. That was already covered in the last episode of the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. Go check that out. So we're going to hit everything that happened in between Forbidden Door and Money in the Bank. So let's just dive right into it. This is the news. So, the WWE has made some backstage changes. We've kind of had a promotion and not a demotion, but somebody moving to a different show. So, Jackie Redmond will be stepping up an expanded role starting July 1st. She will now be one of the backstage interviewers for Monday Night Raw alongside Byron Saxton. And she will still co-host the Premium Live Event Kickoff shows with Kayla Braxton, Booker T, and Peter Rosenberg. And then Megan Morant will have an expanded role at the Stanford Studios, and she will serve as the host for Raw Talk, SmackDown, Lowdown, international shows, and various digital shows. And then Kathy Kelly will be moving over to Friday Night SmackDown, where she will join Kayla as the backstage interviewer. So this is good. This is good stuff. If you haven't seen or heard, apparently Ryback has a stalker, and the stalker is not only coming after Ryback, he's coming after Ziggler, coming after Curtis Axel. Ryback says he's scared to leave the house, and I would be too if I got a stalker. And looks like the FBI actually may be getting involved as well. This is a scary situation. I think actually the stalker is the same dude that was he's not the same person, but he wants to replicate Sonya Deville's stalker. This is not it's not pretty. The WWE people backstage are trying to find ways to counteract Vince McMahon's changes. So what they're going to start doing is advertising matches weeks in advance. So a match for 2 weeks ahead, match for 3 weeks ahead. And if it doesn't happen, blame Vince. Like it was noted that on June 19th, the world title match, which was part of a big storyline, which changed for the first 30 minutes of the show. Remember, that was the Seth open challenge, and that ended up with Finn attacking him, and that was all Vince. So I get it. Harley Cameron is now all elite. She has signed a full-time contract. She's been a major part of the QTV segments and part of QTV along with her, QT Marshall, Powerhouse Hobbs, Johnny TV, and Aaron Solo. I very much like Harley. She's got some really good, funny, comedic timing. I think she's going to do well in this business. Forbidden Door did some really impressive pay-per-view numbers. They were 12% higher. They did 10,000 more buys. That's really, really good, folks. I'm really expecting Forbidden Door to become an annual event. Carlito apparently has signed a deal with the WWE. He is coming back, and listen, if you don't like it, I'll spit in your face because you're not cool. Carlito made a return at Backlash when they were in Puerto Rico, got a major pop. He looked to be in excellent shape. Let's see what is next. So the first impressions of the Iron Claw film have come out, and they are not positive. The Iron Claw film stars Zac Efron, who will be playing Kevin Von Erich. This is about the Von Erich family and that just really tragic things that have gone down for the MJF is in the movie, but the test screening and the first impressions given weren't great. Mainly, one of the big complaints was the some of the performance and the actor that plays Ric Flair. So we will see what happens next. And some sad news: Darren Droz has passed away. You know, Droz, he was a former NFL player, human wrestler, and got paralyzed after taking a power bomb from D'Lo Brown. He died of natural causes. He was 54. Carmella got snubbed in the WWE Money in the Bank video and on their website because it says Alexa Bliss was the first one to cash first Money in the Bank winner, which is wrong. It was clearly Carmella, and I'd be really upset as well. Money in the Bank in London broke some really big records. They brought in 37,000 fans, which is, I believe, one of, if not the largest crowds at the O2 Arena. They also did lots in merchandising sales, and they also brought in 2.25 million. I believe that's the gate. So, yeah, expect more international shows. Ratings side of things, Collision, the second episode, pulled in 597,000 viewers with a 0.21 in the 18-49 demo. That's obviously down in both the ratings and the demo from the first episode, because the first episode features CM Punk. But we'll see how the third episode does. We can get a really good baseline Raw, the go-home show for Money in the Bank. They pulled in 101.97 million viewers with a 0.61 and 18-49. That's actually really good. It's up from in both the ratings and the demo, seeing how this was the go-home show for Money in the Bank. Dynamite, Forbidden Door Fallout show, they pulled to 809,000 viewers with a 0.24 and the 18-49 demo. This show was to feature the Britt Baker match against Ruby Soho, but sickness, we'll get into that. SmackDown pulled in 2.3 million viewers with a 0.61 in the 18-49 demo. That is up in both areas from the previous weeks. On the injury side of things, Daniel Bryan suffered a fractured arm early in his match against Okada at Forbidden Door, and it looks worse than expected. He could be out for up to at least 6 to 8 weeks. He wrestled with a fractured arm and still finished the match. Britt Baker, along with Adam Cole, are both sick. They were both pulled from their respective matches at the shows they were supposed to be at. So we'll see how this illness affects them further. And Dakota Kai says she's healing really, really well and really quickly from her ACL injury. Strong chance she could be back by the end of the year. She's already in rehab. She could be a freak of nature like Adrian Peterson. But people come back from ACLs really, really quickly nowadays. But that's the news, and we shall be right back with the week in review. Alright, so for Monday Night Raw, we had our go-home show for Money in the Bank. We start off with pretty much Cody, Rhea, and Dom. I'm just trying to, get some heat for this match. And essentially, Cody's teasing Dom, wants to know if he's really just, if Dom's a man or if he's Mommy's little boy. And Cody chumps him, so Dom gets an opponent of his choosing. Ricochet defeats Shinsuke. And Bronson Reed gets sent to the back. Matt Riddle beats up Ludwig Kaiser backstage, and then Gunther steps in and beats up Riddle. Ronda defeated Raquel Rodriguez. I keep forgetting. It's either Rodriguez or Gonzalez. Seth hypes his title match and welcomes Carmelo Hayes, who was ringside. Finn tried to attack Seth, but Melo stepped in. The Miz and Ciampa were supposed to have a match, but that never got off the ground as The Miz attacked Ciampa before their match. Dom's handpicked opponent is Akira Tozawa, and Tozawa pretty much whips Dom's ass until Rhea just stands there in front of Tozawa and he gets scared, allowing Dom to get the win. We had a women's Money in the Bank summit, and it pretty much devolved into everybody fighting and Becky sitting atop the ladder holding the briefcase, so i.e. she wasn't going to win. Gunther defeated Sami Zayn. This match was set up after KO and Sammy interrupted Gunther, and Gunther didn't like it. KO was like, "See, you got a problem with it now, don't you?" See, KO's just been on a roll. Chad Gable hypes the Alpha Academy's feud with the Viking Raiders, and Taya will try again against Rhea, and so she gets a title shot next week. Finn Balor defeated Carmelo Hayes. Melo looked good because Melo is, well, him. I just didn't really like Melo losing, since he had a title match the next night on NXT. And in the main event, Cody defeated Damian Priest, and Dom cheap shotted Cody to end the show. Over on Dynamite, we had the Forbidden Door Fallout show, so our first match was Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii. This was good. Like, listen, it's Mox, it's Ishii. You know what you're getting. Eddie came down at ringside to make sure Claudio and Yuta didn't get involved, but Mox does win, defeating Ishii with Death Rider. And then backstage, Eddie approaches Mox and them, and Mox is like, "I'm over this crap between you and Claudio that happened a decade ago in DDT." And Renee's like, she's done, she's tired, she's over this, and Mox and them walk away, and she tells Eddie to fix this. And I like that they acknowledge that Renee's kinda in here, but it just feels real. I really enjoyed it because it feels like they're all friends and they're really good. I love it. I really do. MJF and Adam Cole will spend a weekend together getting to know each other. So this is going to be fun, and we're going to get more vignettes. Orange Cassidy, Keith Lee, and Vikingo defeated the Jericho Appreciation Society, the team of Dan Garcia, Cool Hand Ange, and I can't remember the other dude's name. Matt Menard. The Dark Order are done with Hangman, that they're tired of being the shoulder he can cry on, and that he just leaves them high and dry. So they have a match. The Dark Order, Silver, Reynolds, and Evil Uno versus the Hung Bucks. And Hangman was, has some trepidation against fighting, his boys, but the Young Bucks talked him into it. The Young Bucks and Hangman Page win, and then once the BCC attacks, the Dark Order don't help. They walk away. And then the BCC still attacking. Mox calls for blood and guts. Adam Cole tells Roderick Strong that he's just playing along with MJF. Jungle Boy's first heel promo. It's fine. He will only get better. Hook chases him, and it's a really funny run, and then Jungle Boy jumps into the car and he speed away. Ruby Soho had a squash match. Remember, she was supposed to be facing Britt. Britt is sick, and then she cuts this really good promo and just completely runs down Britt. This was a really good promo on Ruby, and it's probably the best she's done since coming to AEW. In the main event, Sting and Darby Allin defeated Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara in a tornado tag match, and Sting's just over here jumping through tables. This is how you use a legend. It's just great. Over on Impact, storylines move forward. So Chris Sabin defeated Trey Miguel by DQ after Zachary Wentz returns to the Impact Zone, announces he has his boys back. Trinity defeats Jay Vidal. Savannah Evans and Giselle Shaw attack after the match, and Deonna Purrazzo takes her time to help, but then finally helps. Moose tells Brian Myers to ditch the dead weight, i.e. the good hands, before they challenge for the Impact Tag Team Championships. Leo Rush returns and wins the squash match. Frankie Zara wants an answer from Eddie Irvis about what happened last week. Masha Slamovich defeats Kylan King, so this feud continues. Scott D'Amore hype video with a lot of people that know him, really hyping him up and telling him how important Scott D'Amore has been to their careers into Impact. Darren McCarty will be the special guest referee for his match, and the Good Hands blame him for their bad luck, so he talks to Santino to get them a handicap match again. Kenny King defeated Yuya Uemura, and in the main event segment, Nick Aldis states his claim as the next world champion. Alex Shelley tells him to stop being a bitch. Then they fight, and Saban comes to help, and the Leo Rush comes out, and they end up taking out the Motor City Machine Gun. So Impact ends with Nick Aldis and Leo Rush holding up the respective championships. Over on Ring of Honor, this was a shorter show, But here's the thing, this my issue is it's still a lot of just matches, not a lot of storylines, and we have a pay-per-view in 2 or 3 weeks, and nothing's been announced. Only match that we pretty much know we're going to get is CLAUDIO versus Eddie for the World Championship, and that feud's been taking place primarily on Dynamite. But some of the results, Drilistico and Preston Vance get a squash. The Righteous defeated the Dark Order, so patrons of that feud is still continuing. Diamante gets her win back versus Layla Gray. Lucha Brothers defeated Gringo Loco, Shane Taylor, and the Work Horsemen. Lucha Brothers, Hijo, Commander, and a good 8-man tag, but I can't keep having Shane Taylor lose. Big Bill Lee Moretti won a squash. What else we got? Desperado defeated Willie Mack. Roppongi Vice got a W. Action Andretti, Christopher Daniels, and Darius Martin defeated the United Empire. That was probably the big shocker of the evening. Athena got a W, and CLAUDIO defeated Chuck Taylor. Over on SmackDown, this is the go-home show for Money in the Bank. KO and Sammy retain against Pretty Deadly. This was a pretty definitive victory for them. Adam Pearce tells Rich Holland that he's not going to get a match for the solo, but he'll give him a match versus Austin Theory, and if he defeats Austin Theory, he will get a U.S. Championship match, and then Austin Theory definitively beats Ridge Holland in like 3 minutes. He won with a dropkick to the throat, so it's different. Karrion Kross says he will go for checkmate against AJ Styles, and AJ accepts. Bayley retains her spot against Shotzi, defeats Shotzi to retain her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then Bayley and Io attack Shotzi backstage and cut a piece of her hair off. We had the Grayson Waller effect with the SmackDown. First started with Logan Paul, and then everybody started coming out, and LA Knight and Paul get into it. So I'm thinking we might get an LA Knight Logan Paul match at SummerSlam. It involves with Butch just running out and attacking Logan Paul, and then Butch wins the triple threat match between Santos himself and LA Knight. Charlotte versus Asuka ended in a no contest after they provoked Bianca. Remember, Bianca was banned from ringside, so she just bought a ticket. I'm just happy Asuka retained because I couldn't take Charlotte winning. And then the main event segment, the Bloodline comes out, and Roman's like, listen, he'll forgive his cousins. They just have to come out, apologize, and acknowledge him. The Usos come out and tell Roman, like, nah, but we will suggest that Solo as the next tribal chief, even though he's tripping. And Roman laughs that off, and he looks over at Solo, and Solo looks at him, and Solo's like, he might murder this man. And Solo's like, nah, it's just good. Obviously they end up fighting, and Jay's the last one standing. Over on Rampage, CLAUDIO retained the Ring of Honor World Championship against Commander due to ref stoppage. This was a good way. I like a good ref stoppage. Shawn Spears defeats The Blade. Johnny TV and QT Marshall defeats Matt Hardy and Brother Zay. They attack Ethan Page after the match, and they claim makes the save. I'm trying to figure out why they claim is getting involved in this. They claim to be elevated once again. And in the main event, Hikaru Shida defeats Taya Valkyrie in a nice, fun match. Taya's downfall continues, so I'm waiting to see what this is going to lead to. Over on Collision, we had MJF's debut. He won a squash match and then is challenged by Ethan Page. And Ethan Page cuts a really impassioned promo, challenges him for the World Championship. They have a match. MJF still retains the World Championship. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Dustin Rhodes to advance to the Owen. It's a good match. I thought Dustin Rhodes got a little too much offense in. Miro won a squash match. The Guns are officially part of the Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang now. This is fun. I like to see the Guns elevated. And they all want Punk, FTR, and Ricky, which they accept. So this is going to be fun. And Jay White cuts a really good promo and shows just truly who Jay White is, because he wants Punk. Ricky Starks defeated Juice Robinson to advance to the Owen. Shawn Spears approaches Christian and Luchasaurus, says he wants the TNT Championship. And Christian's like, you're not dangerous. But Shawn's like, anyone can be dangerous if it takes the right person. And then he looks past Christian, who was holding the championship, and says, I'll be seeing you soon, champ, talking to Luchasaurus. Chris Statlander had an open challenge for the TBS Championship and retained against Lady Frost. Andrade wants his mask back. but the House of Black are having none of it. In the main event, Samoa Joe defeated Roderick Strong to advance in the Owen. And Punk was on commentary for this match because there's history between Punk, there's history between Joe, there's history between Strong, between all three of these men. It was really good. And then we did a stretcher job where Joe gave Strong a power slam, like head first into a chair. Adam Cole came out to check on his guy. So we'll see where this leads. But overall, a good week in wrestling. Our matches of the week. So from Forbidden Door, we have the Fatal 4-Way match for the International Championship. Orange Cassidy defending against Dan Garcia, Katsuyori, Shibata, and ZACK SABRE Jr. Just a really, really fun and awesome match. Also from Forbidden Door, the 10-man tag, Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks versus Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Konosuke Takeshita. That was just a wild ride and a blast from Forbidden Door. Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale. This was really a coming out party for Willow. Also from Forbidden Door, probably maybe the match of the year, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Just amazing stuff here. From Dynamite, Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii, and Sting and Darby Allin versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. From Money in the Bank, both matches, the men's Money in the Bank and the women's Money in the Bank, both matches were absolutely awesome. These were definitely two of the better Money in the Bank matches I've seen in a very, very long time. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the Bloodline Civil War. This had everything you needed and more. And our star of the week, I will make it a 4 for 4. Okay, so we'll go with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, both for their just amazing match they had at Forbidden Door. And then from Money in the Bank, we'll go with our two Money in the Bank winners, Damian Priest and Io Sky. Both people are highly deserving of it. I am excited to see what they're going to do with the championships. This was great. This was really great. We just had a really good week in wrestling. The middle so, but the book ended. Forbidden Door, Money in the Bank, just awesome. But that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for listening. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter. Coffee, Patreon, every Saturday, the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, every Sunday, the High Risk Wrestling Recap. And as always, Xia Li, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, Bailey, Willow Nightingale, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.